Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel depending on who you are and where you've been. In today's video, I wanted to touch on something that was taught to me several years ago, and I sort of understood on an intellectual level, but I didn't really believe it. I kind of just was like, whatever about it. But now I'm starting to really see that teaching become more apparent in my life. So let's go back about 4 or 5 years ago, when right after I had this whole twin flame separation, spiritual awakening, and I was searching for answers. I was going to YouTube. I was going to people here in town who were kind of more spiritually awake, I would say. And a lot of these teachers, psychics, people that do hypnosis, psychologists that were more into the, spiritually awakening, a lot of them told me that the work that I do on myself affects everybody in the world. It affects everyone. It affects all relationships. And I was kind of like, oh, that's nice, whatever. That sounds real great in theory. But I'm not sure that it really means anything. Because, let me tell you, when I was growing up in a Christian household, we had this saying that integrity is doing the right thing when no one is watching. So I already had this idea in my head that there's certain actions that I take that where no one sees them. It's kind of like I have some sort of privacy or some type of private life. And over the years, especially recently, I've come to understand that nobody makes decisions or takes action in a vacuum. It's just, there's no possible way that you could do something or think something to yourself that nobody else sees or hears. Because ultimately, you hear all of your thoughts, you see all of your actions. So in that sense, because you cannot run away from you and your own consciousness, you simply cannot do something when no one is looking, because you're always looking. And a lot of times, because I didn't really believe that what I was doing for myself was really helping other people in possibly a way that I didn't fully understand, I was a little bit on the complacent side, I have to admit. And I really didn't value the inner work that I was doing as much as I do now. So one thing that happened to me recently that kind of shifted my view on this teaching and kind of help me understand what that really means, what it means by what you do to yourself, how it affects other people, and how we have like this single consciousness that kind of connects all of us. Let me give some backstory though before I explain the dream. So growing up, I had a lot of problems with my physical health, and I had a lot of people, basically treat me like it was never going to change, and there was nothing I can do, and that was just my road. I was just a fat kid. I was just unathletic, like that's who I was, even though I had visions of myself being healthy and being athletic. But a lot of kids, a lot of peers, they didn't really see that in me. And so they, treated me as such, which I don't hold any grudges towards these people, because honestly, I would have probably done the same thing when I was a kid. And who knows? Who knows what else? So I had this dream very recently where I'm standing up in front of those same peers and I'm telling them about my struggles in my physical health, and they start clapping for me. They're cheering for me. And I'm thinking to myself in the dream, I'm thinking, why are these people clapping for my suffering and my disadvantages in life? And so I keep sharing my story. I keep talking about the things that I've overcome in my physical health and the breakthroughs that I've had, which I did have several recently and throughout my life. Sort of like getting closer and closer to manifesting what I saw as a child. And they continue to cheer for me. They're like, yeah, Jimmy, you keep going, all this stuff. And I was like, wow, that was a really interesting dream. And of course, a few days later, I had the opportunity to share my story with some other people who were struggling with some health challenges, and they felt really inspired by what I said. And when that happened, I kind of thought, oh, that's what the dream was about. And of course, it could have been a premonition type of dream. I'm not saying that. But what I've come to understand is that dream was also showing me that everybody is seeing the actions that you do, that you take in the inner work that you do, the mindset shifts, the energetic piece of things. Everybody is seeing that on a soul level. And the reason why people might not, validate that kind of work or inner work is because the illusion of separation, the illusion of this physical 3D reality is so convincing and so strong that they may just totally believe it. And I don't blame them, because a lot of what kept me from really understanding that teaching was being so invested in this physical world, in this 3D reality. And whether the 3D reality was, if I was getting the results physically that I really, really wanted or not. But a few other things have happened to me recently that have really solidified this understanding to where I can really share it with you guys. Like I said, a few months ago, I was making some more changes to my diet. I was researching more about nutrition, seeing if there's any way to bump up the antioxidant content in my diet. And so I was doing different things, and I had an energy level that I have never experienced in my entire life prior. Like literally, I don't even remember feeling this good when I was a child, like really, really young child. But I started feeling this way, and I had like an identity crisis because I felt so healthy. I wasn't sure that I was me anymore because I had identified with my disease for so long. But anyways, I was doing a lot of this work internally healing my body. I was doing a lot of inner work, letting go of a lot of emotions and a lot of limiting beliefs that I had about myself, shedding an old identity. But there wasn't a lot of movement in the 3D world, in the physical world. Like, I only lost maybe 5 pounds, so there wasn't a lot of change to my physical body, and there wasn't a lot of change, in my financial realm. There wasn't, I had a few opportunities come that were unexpected, which was great, but not a huge change in my financial situation. And I just kind of thought to myself, I was like, I wonder if anybody will even notice these like internal changes that I've made. And I thought, nah, they probably won't even notice anything until I've lost 30 pounds. And then they'll say, wow, you look amazing. Well, several weeks later, I'm at this yoga class that I've been going to for months. And this lady who has never said one word to me walks up to me while I'm laying on my mat, and she's like, excuse me? And of course I'm like, oh, am I in your spot or something? Like, do I need to move? And she's like, excuse me. She says it again. And then she tells me, I just wanted to tell you that you seem a lot happier lately, and it's like a night and day difference in your levels of happiness. And I just thought, wow, like clearly clearly somebody is noticing the changes that I've been making. And wow, I mean, I wasn't expecting it, especially coming from someone who really has not even made any acknowledgement of my presence prior to that, and has not said a single word to me through the several months that I've been taking this yoga class with her. And today, something similar happened. It was another yoga class that I take on Saturdays. I've been doing it for several months, like that other yoga class. And this lady came up to me and she said, "I've noticed that you've been really consistent in coming to this class pretty regularly, and it's inspired me to be more consistent in my exercise routine and my yoga practice." And I just thought, wow, that's really cool. I mean, I think that people are more, I guess, they have more of a reaction of like grandiose external changes. Like if I could do some crazy yoga headstand pose, or if I had lost tons of weight, or if I all of a sudden became really rich and wore different clothes. But now I'm starting to realize that even the smallest things, even the internal work, people really pick up on, and it really does affect other people. Like I said, you don't make choices in a vacuum. Every choice you make to benefit your mental health, physical health, spiritual health, it affects everybody else. And just like I said in one of my previous videos, if you're too caught up in the 3D physical reality, you may be missing an opportunity to do that deep inner work that you need to do to innovate or find a solution, or bring back a solution that's been hidden or buried for who knows, tens, thousands of years into the light so that it can help other people. And, I just really wanted to share this with you guys, because I know there were so many times in my life where I was getting no validation from my external reality. I was getting no validation from other people when I was doing this inner work, but there was something inside of me that kept doing it, mostly because it made me feel better, and I just enjoyed feeling good no matter what was going on in my life. But now I'm at a point in my life where I don't need external gratification, as I call it. I don't need external validation to continue doing the work that I'm doing, because I know from my own consciousness, I see the changes that are happening inside of me. And if I'm noticing the changes, and I have a consciousness that's connected to every single person on planet Earth, and probably every sentient being, not just humans, but every sentient being that's on planet Earth at this moment, guaranteed on a soul level, everybody else is paying attention to those changes. Just like that dream I had. On a soul level, my peers are rooting for my success, even if they don't show it on the outside. So, anyways, if you found value out of this video, please share it with somebody else that you think could use this at a time in their life for encouragement to keep working on themselves internally. And if you like these videos and want to see more, make sure to like this video and subscribe so that you never miss an upcoming video in the future. With that being said, I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.